there's a need to kind of take a step back and really look at what's going on here.
Watch them grow, perceive, devote. This is the seed, light the show. Watch them grow.
Last but most certainly not least, hello, my Virgo friend. Welcome to your June reading. I am Princess India if you're new, and if you're family, welcome back, my friend. So, in this vicinity, you should see me shuffling the cards that are on my desk at present. And I'm going to go ahead and jump into these suckers with you guys' overall energy, which is big picture thinking. And it says, I'm probably going to say this word wrong, but Pleiades. It's, like the Pleiadians. Pleiades energy. And I say it again. Visionary, inspired ideas. Now, this is interesting to come out in you guys' overall energy. What I would want to say about that is I feel, because big picture thinking had a lot to do with the Sagittarius full moon that we had on the 5th of this month. You know what I'm saying? That's what it was really about. I interrelate the meaning of this full moon to two things. The first thing being what pretty much became clear to you guys on this particular full moon is intricately related to what occurred for all of us somewhere around the 26th of November 2019. What I've been saying for everyone and said in the video that's on my other channel, WokeBook, is that during that time, there was a stance that we took or a decision that we made, or in some way, shape, or form, we kind of pivoted in some way or another and set intentions in a specific direction, whether you're aware of it or not. It's better if you are. But that kind of came full circle on the 5th of this month. And then for those of you who haven't seen it already, I put up a video, well, it's not really a video. It's more of a message about the energies for that particular day. It's a voice memo that I did, and it's on the channel in the playlist for June, where I talked about the energies that came up that day, and just like different thoughts that came up for you that day and the energies that a lot of us were feeling. But I say all of that to say that I feel for Virgos, that date from 2019, as well as the 5th of this month, could have been very important days for you that possess a lot of energy that more, or insights, energy, epiphanies, what have you, that kind of interrelate into what it is that I'm seeing in you guys' cards overall. But I say all of that to say again that what you guys are being asked to do this month, which is perfect timing because Mercury goes retrograde on the 18th. And I always say that Mercury retrograde is a really great time to take a step back and kind of look at everything big picture, to really reassess your life and reevaluate what's going on with you and how things are going awry, or what areas in your life that you want to be better or you're not happy in, and so on and so forth. Which gives me the opportunity to go into your cards. The other thing I want to say about that too, for those of you where this isn't like just everyday kind of life stuff, like, like mundane day-to-day kind of things, this would also be linked to, like, say if this is kind of like a catalyst crossroads you guys are at, and this is like a spiritual call to a higher state of being type of deal. That's another thing that I would see with this, but I'll get into that with you guys' cards. But your central energy is the 7 of Cups in the reverse, and this is challenged by the 2 of Pentacles. Your past influence, which is how you're coming into June, is the 10 of Pentacles in the reverse. Your below energy, I think you can see it, is the 7 of Pentacles in the reverse. A lot of pentacles. Your above energy is the 7 of Wands. Y'all got all the elements in this piece. And going forward, we have the 3 of Cups in the reverse. And at the bottom of you guys' deck, we have the 2 of Swords in the reverse. I'm doing that because I'm trying to make sure the glare. All right. The 2 of Swords in the reverse. So what I'm seeing with this, Virgo, is you guys are entering the month of June in an interesting space with this 10 of cups. Really, princess? With this 10 of pentacles in the reverse, it's more or less in the most mundane sense, yet again, if we were to say it this way, we would be talking about you guys, and that kind of relates to what I was saying with this card too. We would be talking about you guys like having a good job or being financially stable, like your physical needs being met, but feeling unfulfilled, right? And this unfulfilled feeling would be more intricately related. And why I said this card is because it would be more related to like a legacy type of thing. It's like you're financially stable, you have a really good job, you know, nice house, nice car, your needs are met, bills are paid, things of the sort, but it's feeling as if your life is lacking meaning. You know what I mean? Like more or less feeling like, what am I doing this for? Like, what's the big purpose type of deal? So this would be someone maybe where if say if you, I don't know why school keeps coming up, but say if like you went to college, right? And your whole thing with that was, as soon as I get this degree, my life is going to change. Or even if it was like a certification or something, like as soon as I get the certification, my life is going to change. Or if I get this promotion, my life's going to change. If I make this amount of money, then, you know, my life is going to change. If I get married or if I have a kid, it's like my life is going to change. I mean, if you get married and have a kid, it's literally going to change in real life, but meaning that in the sense of fulfillment. So I feel with this, it's a couple of different people, because this could be some people who are like, you know, young and kind of just starting out, like I said, fresh out of school. This could be people who, you know, have kids who are like bigger, whether it's your kids moving out or, you know, if you're like me and you got tweens and teens and things of the sort, and your kids are kind of doing their own thing, you know, and it just leaves a lot of time on your hands to kind of sit and reflect. I feel those kind of people with this. But then also I feel people who are working jobs that may feel kind of like dead end. You know what I mean? It's like you're fulfilling a role and you're doing your day to day, but it's not hitting that sweet spot. You know what I mean? And that takes me into the 7 of Pentacles in the reverse, which is you guys' underlying influence, which is really the root of all of this that's happening. Because in the center of your spread, with this 2 of Pentacles and the 7 of Cups in the reverse, that says to me that it's a huge, like, well, I don't want to say huge, because I feel what Virgos are dealing with this month, it's more of an inner conflict than anything else. I don't really too much feel that it has anything to do with other people, to be quite honest. I mean, there could, if this is like family issues or something like that, and it's kind of like always getting caught up into family dramas type of deal. But for the time being, I'm just going to stick with what I'm seeing. Like, this looks like a lot of internalization type of thing. So either coming into the month at the very, very beginning of June, it's this feeling of unfulfillment that kind of comes over you, or a desire to want to do something more. You know what I mean? Because it's either this legacy thing of like you wanting to do something where like you want to stand for something, you want your life to be about something, or you want to be known for something. But it's like, I feel that it doesn't necessarily mean that you guys' life is in disarray. You know what I mean? For some of you, I mean, it could. I don't really feel that too much though, because if this was like a financial struggle type of thing, I would want to see the 5 of Pentacles. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really feel that it's a lack thereof of finances, unless it's just money is, I don't know why I heard a lawsuit, but I mean, of course I know why I heard lawsuit, because it got to do something with somebody. But I don't know. It's like the sense I get with this is almost like money slipping through your fingers if this was legit something where you guys weren't doing well financially. So it's a couple of different things I'm getting with this. I'm trying to keep up with all of them. let me just stick with the internal issue. If I were to stick with the first scenario that I see, which is a lack of fulfillment, even though your finances are fine, you know what I mean? Your central energy and the biggest issue this month is the fact that when you're thinking about all of the obligations that you have or people you're responsible for or things that you do day to day, what that says to me is this lack of fulfillment is being filled with this energy. You know what I'm saying? Because like with the Two of Pentacles, we're talking about a person who has a whole bunch going on. You know what I'm saying? It's like kind of like what my life was like before Corona, where it's like basketball practice and, you know, games and work and, you know, groceries, cooking, like all of this different stuff that you have going on, like wearing a lot of different hats, you know what I mean? So it's like with that, but I feel with this, because with this being in the challenge position, it slightly changes the narrative. It's pushing back to, with this Ten of Pentacles, it's the fact of you guys doing a lot, taking on a lot, getting to like a pivotal point in your life, right? But it's not upright because there's some sense of a block here, right? And like I was saying before, this, because Lord, these cards bring me all over the place. I'm so sorry, Virgo. But with the Seven of Pentacles in the reverse being at the bottom of your deck, like this is more or less the energy that's rising up to rear its ugly head. So everything that you guys are experiencing above ground, like in your everyday life, is because this is the root of the problem. Now, with the Seven of Pentacles in the reverse, what we're talking about is the same vibration as all three of these cards, actually, with the Ten of Pentacles, the Seven of Cups in reverse, and the Two of Pentacles, in the sense that underneath it all, and we could even say subconsciously, there's a part of you that's questioning if all of this effort that you're putting in is really worth it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like being tired of waiting, because I think waiting probably was a thing where you may have been feeling this for some time and not really been happy about how life is going, or overextending yourself in some way, shape, form, or fashion, or, you know, your job or your profession or whatever the case may be. It's like you haven't really been fulfilled for some time, but it's like underneath it all, it's like this is the energy that's been influencing all of this up until now. And now it's just kind of like a pressure cooker, where it's like this energy has gone ignored for, you know, so many years or so many months, that now it's like it's forcing its way up into your daily experience. I hope that that makes sense. But it's forcing its way up into your daily experience in the form of you feeling overwhelmed. But I feel that part of the reason why you are overwhelmed, because it's almost like overextending yourself or getting into a lot of different stuff to supplement for the fact that you are feeling unfulfilled, right? But the whole reason why you are is because whatever you're doing isn't fully speaking to your soul essence, which takes me back to your overall energy, like big picture thinking. So it's more or less this is happening, whatever issue you guys are facing. Well, I'm not saying whatever issue, but I mean how this energy is manifesting in June. The reason why it's happening is because there's a need for you to face the fact that you really don't feel that you're going in the right direction, or you don't really feel this job is right for you, or you're not really doing something that's in alignment with your truth. Like what I would say, if I were to project this into the future, it's like, who was it? I can't remember if it was Aquarius. It was somebody where I said that they were, or Cancer maybe, where I said they were on the cusp of burnout, or Libra. I really can't remember, y'all. I don't remember who that was, but I need to remember who that was and put that in y'all's description box. But this would ultimately lead to burnout, because what you're doing is not really reciprocating back into you. It's more or less like should oughts and supposed tos. You know what I'm saying? But you have to be careful not to jump the gun with this. It's just, I feel overall with you guys, central energy, whether it's coming in or what's happening now, your challenge, the easiest way I could sum all of this up to not confuse you is that a lot of your time, attention, energy, and effort is going into stuff that's not important to you, right? And it's almost as if you've been denying and neglecting yourself so much. You know what I mean? Because there's this unequal balance thing here. It's like a lot has been going out to other people. And I have said this with somebody before. I think that was because Libra and Aquarius were linked because they were like two sides of one coin. And that sounds very much like what I'm seeing for you guys. It's like a lot of what you do is because either you thought this was going to give you fulfillment and it didn't, or it's just kind of should, ought, supposed to, and it's like your inner self is craving for something more. So when we talk about taking a step back and looking at the bigger picture, it's like for your bigger vision of your life, like what it is that you really want and desire, is what you're doing day to day contributing to that? Is it adding to that, or is it taking away from that? You know what I mean? Like, is this really behooving you? You know what I'm saying? Or is this subtracting, in so many words? And what's needed, and even taking into account you guys' underlying energy. Like, dude, I mean, I feel it, because it's like looking at these cards and even describing it, like how I said, it's like I'm jumping from one thing to the other. It's like I can feel that it's making you guys feel ungrounded, like almost as if you're losing control of the situation in a sense. But that's why I say it's important. There's a need to kind of take a step back and really look at what's going on here. Like, how much of this stuff do you really have to do? How much of this stuff can be skimped, you know? Because even looking at this Five of Wands and you guys above energy, I could see this in two ways too. Like with the Five of Wands and your above energy, this can be a conflict within yourself, like meaning your mind is just like going 1,000 ways a minute. You know what I'm saying? And you're like, you don't know if you're coming or going. And it's like feeling flustered in a sense. But also this inner conflict can be externalized into your environment. So meaning like it's people in your life and you're fighting with them, or you know, somebody comes at you wrong, or you misunderstand somebody and you snap at them and kind of, you know, jump the gun thinking that, you know, they're trying to be petty or whatever. Because I always call this my petty label card in real life. But I feel that it's almost like having a hairpin trigger, I guess you could say. So it's like either there's a conflict going on with you guys internally, or this is an internal conflict that's being externalized into your environment. Another way we could look at this is if you feel like there's a lot of chaos going on outside of you, you know what I mean? That's one of those things where it's a mirror reflection where we can't see something. Like if you notice like, oh, it seems like everyone around me is so conflicted. It's one of those things where we can't see something outside of us that doesn't already exist inside of us. You know what I mean? But I feel for you guys, honestly, even with this Two of Swords in the reverse, this feels almost like it's subconscious. Like I would say that Virgos aren't making the connection. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like all of this stuff, like it's not making a connection between the two. It's just kind of looking at each thing as its own little chunk, but not seeing how all of them are interrelated. You know what I mean? Or thinking that because you're kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out with, you know, a friendship, relationship, or, you know, like a job situation or something, like thinking that that doesn't affect it energetically, if that's making sense. Because it's like, it's one of those things where people pick up on it, or if your heart really isn't into something, it's not being aware that other people pick up on that, and that causes other people to kind of react to that, if that makes sense. So if I give an example of this, it's like, okay, say you were working at a job for, I don't know, 5 years. And for the last 5 years, you have always been on time. You know, you've always stayed a little late. You've always helped coworkers, type of deal, right? But suddenly this month, it's like you've just been sitting and thinking like, you know, I started here 5 years ago. I don't really know if this job is, you know, gonna give me what it is that I'm looking for from a job. It's like I would have, I assumed when I started that I would have been promoted after 5 years, and I haven't. You know what I mean? So these are things you're kind of grappling with, or maybe things are just kind of fleeting thoughts in your mind, so to speak. So now it's like reevaluating on, is this really worth my time? Like all it is that I've been putting in, I don't really know if this is worth my time, right? So that's our 10 of Pentacles in the reverse and our 7 of Pentacles, right? So now with this 2 of Pentacles, it's like we have 1 foot in the door and 1 foot out, meaning 1 foot in is you're still coming to work every day. Sometimes you're on time, sometimes you're not, right? Now, the 1 foot out is the fact that you're not staying late anymore. You're not helping out other coworkers. Like you're doing the bare minimum, but you're not going above and beyond like you used to, right? That's the 1 foot out. So this is kind of a shift that you may not be aware of, because this is something like, you made it up in your mind type of deal because you're reevaluating. And it's thinking that nobody really notices, but it's not being aware of how much people outside of you noticed, if that's making sense. So because you don't help other coworkers anymore, you don't stay late, and sometimes you're not on time, that like puts up a red alert to your boss, your supervisor, and everybody on your team, right? So now they're like, what's going on? You know what I mean? So it's this thought of like kind of isolating yourself from everyone, and everyone notices like, okay, something's different. You know what I'm saying? And that inadvertently causes like conflict, because this is where it gets into like 2 people projection. Like you're 1 foot, 1 foot out, not really thinking about other people and not even considering that it would affect other people. You know what I'm saying? And then the other people, they have their own stuff going on and their own perceptions about other people. So they're judging your behavior based on what they think is happening. You know what I'm saying? And that's like where this conflict more or less comes from, because it's like 2 people reacting. So granted, what Virgo is going through has nothing to really do with other people. It's more about them and where they are and what they want. And is this what I want? And just being in this state of mind. But people outside of you are thinking it's about them, and that's what causes the conflict. Because even Virgo being on the receiving end of this would be completely oblivious, because you're not aware that your actions or your behavior caused this person to think that you were doing something that you really weren't doing. You're just trying to figure your life out type of deal. That's legit the best way that I could explain it. Like the energy that's more pronounced above all the other ones, you know what I'm saying? That would involve people outside of yourself. But other than that, it's more or less, it's just and that's where I say, whether this involves other people or not, it's like that conflict still exists in Virgo, and that's how it's manifesting outside. You know what I'm saying? I really hope that makes sense, Virgo. I pray to God that it does. But overall, especially with this 3 of Cups in the reverse going forward into July, what this is saying to me is that the solution to you guys' issues is not going to be found with other people, not getting their opinion, not getting their advice. The whole month of June for Virgos is going to be about you guys doing a reevaluation of everything, right? It's needing to admit to oneself that there's some level of unfulfillment, and that's going to manifest itself through overwhelm. It's through the fact that there's so many things to do, so little time, or you just feeling on the cusp of burnout. You know what I mean? Like the beginning stages of burnout, if you will. It's just the fact that you feel like you're doing so much, like you don't know if you're coming or going, because every second of the day you're always doing something or fulfilling something for someone else. You know what I mean? Or another way, like going back to the money thing I said with this, is feeling like money is always, burning in your pockets, they say, or slipping between your fingers. And it's like, I can't figure out like how it is that I just got my check and my whole check is gone type of deal, because it's like how this energy is, dude, it could manifest in so many different life scenarios, it's something that you're doing too much of in one area, and it's forgetting something about yourself. You know what I mean? It's either, and I still feel like I'm giving examples. That's the only way I can explain it, dude. Because I feel the energy within itself, it's too broad. You know, it's too broad to just say it generally. It's like I have to give scenarios to make what would seem like, what does that have to do with me, make sense. So it's like, even in the sense of like, if you're in a relationship and all of your time, effort, and, you know, energy goes into your relationship where you neglect your job and neglect yourself, it's like that leads us to the same place we are now. It's like, in so many words, stuff is about to blow up. All right. It's like, I see the Two of Pentacles more or less as a warning. Even though it's in a challenge position, I see it as a warning, because it's like, you only have 2 hands and 2 feet. There's only so much one human can do. And you're trying to do it all. You know what I'm saying? Even if I look at this 3 of Cups as like, you're trying to be 3 people, but you're 1 person. You know what I'm saying? And the whole thing is that this is saying your challenge this month is to make a choice. Right now, you're overwhelmed by choices, but you're still thinking if what you're doing now is really what's right for you. The challenge in the month of June is to silence all of the chaos, all of the calamity, all of the conflict by you making a choice. And the choice that you make is the one that's in your highest good. You choose to do only the things that are in service to you, that are beneficial to you. And I know that that can sound selfish, you know what I'm saying? But self-sacrifice is not what's hot in the streets right now. That's not noble. That's just foolish. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like when we talk about giving to other people, we only give to people from our runneth over. We don't give to people from our reserves, because if you can't function fully as an individual, like yourself, by yourself, then you're of no use to anyone else. You know what I'm saying? If you work yourself to death and you have nothing else left to give, you can't give anything to yourself. And people are just pillaging you. You know what I mean? So the whole thing with this is we're coming in with an imbalance, a very clear imbalance in your job, relationships, what have you. But this is something that's been boiling underneath the surface for some time. And there's going to come a time in the month of June where you guys are going to have to make a decision. And if you're lost on what choice to make, so the same with the 2 of Swords underlying here in the reverse, if you're confused on what choice you need to make, choose yourself. Choose what's best for you, because that's your number 1 star player MVP. You know what I'm saying? Because otherwise, like I said, you guys are headed towards burnout. So you have to think big picture. What do you want? What are you headed towards? Is this beneficial for your path? Is it adding to you, or is it taking away? In so many words. But I feel that coming to this decision, other people aren't really going to be helpful with this. This is like a solo dolo, you know, Virgo and spirit type of decision, if that's making sense. I hope and pray that this makes sense, Virgo, because I feel like I did a whole lot of talking, but I hope that is clear. I pray that it's clear, and I hope this helps you, my friend. But that has been your June reading. I'm going over to my website or Vimeo or Patreon or YouTube membership to do you guys extended. If you're about that life, follow me over there. But if not, I still love your freaking face, and I will see you guys sooner than later. Deuces. Well, this changes the game a lot. I see a whole nother message here now, because that's a lot going on.